Yes, we're now taking another perspective. This time it's from Honorable Ray Emeagha, who is the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Imo State. Honorable, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, your party has issued a statement signed by Mr. Kola Ologbondiyan, who says that they are still trying to they're still finding it difficult to understand how Senator Hope Uzodimma of the APC, who came forth in the March 9, 2019 governorship election with just 96,458 votes, was suddenly, by the token of the judgment of the Supreme Court, defeat Governor Emeka Ihedioha that scored 276,000 plus votes. Is this the view of the PDP at the local level in Imo State?
It's not just the view of PDP in Imo State. It's the view of every Nigerian who has the facts and figures of the election that took place in Imo State. It's not just the view of PDP. It's the view of the electorates of Imo citizens who are in a state of shock. For Imo people, today is a mourning day. It's a very sad day, a dark day in the history of Imo State. For somebody who came a distance, somebody who lost his boot, somebody who lost his state constituency, somebody who came a distant fourth to be declared governor, and somebody whose results is used to claim victory was not issued by INEC. Since when in this country did people begin to manufacture results outside of INEC declared results?
Who was it issued by?
What?
The results.
That's what I'm saying.
Who was it issued by?
That's what I'm saying. Since when did we start getting results issued other than that emanates from INEC? INEC tendered collected results for the election, and somebody came up with a different figure, result sheets from different sources, straight to INEC. And INEC even set up a panel of inquiry to investigate the source of those results. And the lower tribunals, at first and second lower courts, it insisted that these results did not emanate from INEC. These results were even rejected by the courts. In any case, leave that apart. If you take the total number of votes of all the contestants and put them together, you have 109,000 votes short. Add that 109,000 votes short, for whatever reasons, to Hope Uzodimma's now at 96,000. His votes will still be less than that of Emeka Ihedioha, who has scored 276,000 votes. So from where are you getting these results? Are you getting results or figures from unaccredited voters? Because if you now add what Hope is claiming to the total number of votes cast in that election, we will be having more than the number of accredited voters. Nigerians are waiting to hear from where these results came from and for what logic. But, you know, for some of us, we are not enthused, we are not surprised, because some people perpetually want the people of Imo and the people of the Igbo race to be continually held down by the system. Because what is happening now is a judicial coup. It's an attempt to truncate the development that has emanated, that has started all over again.
Judicial coup?
Yes, it's a judicial coup because there's no explanation, because there are no, there's no logic, there are no votes anywhere.
That's not what the lawyers have said. I mean, that's not what the lawyers have said. And then so far, so good. We have seen that at the Supreme Court level, I mean, almost all the elections that have gotten up to the Supreme Court, apart from this one, have maintained status quo, so to speak. Yeah. The Supreme Court has kicked out almost all the cases that the appellants have brought, and the governors have remained largely the same. So if the Supreme Court decides, and not just deciding as a majority, but deciding unanimously that indeed that there was merit to this, should we just sweep it aside with the wave of the hand?
No, we shouldn't, and that is why we are saying that this is it's not a judicial. I see this thing as political, more of political decision than a judicial decision.
Why political decision?
Because Imo has been held down. Look, when somebody told me a few days back and said, "Ray, watch it. The way Emeka Ihedioha is going, galvanizing the entire Igbo race, reviving Ahajoko, paying pensioners, engaging the major stakeholders of the Igbo nation. The way Imo is suddenly becoming the center point of positive developments, getting the least been accredited as the least corrupt state by NBBC, that some people somewhere are not happy, and that we should watch it and make haste slowly. So for me, for most Imolites, for those who believe that the future of this country should be better than what it is, for this is nothing but 10,000 miles behind. And it's not funny.
Now, the point is, as people have said, that just the courts do not deal with sentiments. They deal with the facts before them. The last guest who was here said that Hope Uzodinma did not contest the votes allocated or given or declared for any of the other contestants. He focused on the votes that were nullified or disregarded by INEC, and he simply told the Supreme Court, add these votes to mine. They were lawfully mine, and, you know, the Supreme Court saw merit in his case and added, you know, those votes to him. And that was how he became winner. I
am not a lawyer, but I'm a stakeholder in this business. I testified during the court processes. I was in court. These same results that are being claimed today were presented in court. And the people who presented these results could not read the figures in those results. And results were allocated to only 2 political parties in the election. Over 20 contestants were involved. Only 2 parties. AP, they will give to him, he will give to himself, and give to one other party. And the results never tallied. And the lower tribunals found all these things and discarded them and said, these are not valid votes. INEC, the purveyors, the people in custody of results, who own the document, the owners of the document came to court and said, this is not our document. So it's not about sentiment. It's not about being an expert in law. It's about what are the facts. And that's what I'm saying is it's beyond reason. It's unimaginable. It's not understandable. It doesn't make sense to any reasonable person. It doesn't make sense to any active person who participated from voting point. Ask anybody from Imo State. Those people did not contest election. I said he lost his boot. His state constituency, the member of the Oru East State constituency, is a member of PDP, and it's the majority of Imo State House of Assembly. Where did he get the votes from? If these votes were genuine, how come he did not win his constituency? And these are the votes now being accredited to him. Votes that he lost. So it doesn't make sense. And for me, and for most reasonable Imolites, we see it as one of the attempts designed to stand down the state. For the past 8 years, Imo State has been a state of comatose, deliberate decimation of infrastructures, and institutions of governance, destruction of every facet of society. And a young man comes
which members of the APC might agree with you, because for them, they said that they were not in support of the attempt by the governor, the former governor, to impose his son-in-law on the state. And that for them, anybody else apart from his son-in-law, according to at least the last guest who was here, would have been, would have made them happy, so to speak.
That is laughable. It's funny. Rochas Okorocha are members of APC, and APC had only one candidate in it. So whether you see, that's why I'm telling you that what is happening in Imo State is not about votes cast. It's not about justice. It's about external interest, entrenched interest.
Let me also ask you this: there are those who said that they saw that this victory of the former governor, Governor Emeka Ihedioha, that it couldn't have stood the test of time because he didn't win the spread. That yes, he had the most votes, but he did not win the spread as required by the Constitution. How do you react to that?
But that is not the judge of the Supreme Court. They didn't say he didn't have the spread.
No, the point is, I mean, what about that? What about people who said that? Do you dismiss what it is that they said?
That was their claim. But I was there. I was the state returning officer, the state agent at the point of declaration. And the returning officer is a professor of mathematics who was there. The thing was on screen, beamed live. And results were being calculated, deducted, added, and subtracted, and the totals announced. At the end of the result, from the computations done, it was clear that Emeka Ihedioha won the election and had the total spread. Take that by aside. The man who claimed...
Had the total spread in how many local governments?
In 18 local governments.
Not 11 local governments?
18 local governments. It would have been interesting for the Supreme Court or any court of law to say it was 11. Take that aside. The man who came second, Uche Nwosu of APC, was declared by the Supreme Court as not a candidate of that election, having had no double nomination. He was a candidate of APC, He was a candidate of AA. This same Supreme Court disqualified him as having double nomination. Technically, it means that APC did not have a candidate for this election. Because they had the Supreme Court said Ihedioha was a candidate of APC, was also a candidate of AA. That, therefore, APC never had a candidate ab initio. It's strange. And these people, the world international community, the whole world, they are watching Nigeria and they are wondering this kind of voodoo pronouncement. And it will last.
A voodoo pronouncement by the Supreme Court of the country.
I respect the Supreme Court of the country, but they could have made a mistake. They could have been under extraneous influences. Who knows?
Let's go to Lagos now and take some questions from my colleagues.
Well, Honorable Ray, having looked at the way this whole thing has panned out, there are many who initially did say in the first instance that the initial argument was covering in terms of the votes going to the Honorable Emeka Ihedioha, that he didn't garner sufficient votes across the local government areas to be declared. And so some thought that at some point they knew that, who knows, it may not eventually go his way. So from that perspective, did you see that coming?
I didn't get you right.
When some say that he didn't garner enough votes from local government areas, they felt strongly that that indeed was a fact that the courts needed to address. And they thought that having heard or seen the way this judgment has gone is validating the fact that you needed to garner that spread to be declared governor.
I don't think the issue is spread. The issue here is the results being that is speculated as results to declare who puts on the women does not exist. That is the issue. These result did not emanate from INEC. And it's of public knowledge in the whole of Imo that these results were fabricated outside of the electoral polling units in somebody's house. And attempts were made to load them into the system and failed. And the same person brought them to court, and the court rejected those results. The INEC disowned those results. These are the issues. And I'm saying, no, without conceding, assuming these results are genuine, add the results of being accredited to him, because you can't have more votes than the total number of accredited voters in an election. 820-something thousand Imolites were accredited for this election. Add the total number of votes cast. You have 109 votes short of the total number of accredited votes. Okay, take the entire votes not cast or invalid votes. Take all of them, 109. Add to 96,000. It still falls short of the 276,000 for which Emeka Ihedioha was leading. If there were any infractions, you could have said, go and conduct another election and run. But for you to now discard all the facts before you, discard the fact that these results don't exist, and announce by pronouncement, by proclamation, that somebody should be sworn in, I see it as beyond judicial pronouncement. I see it as political. I see it as an attempt to subjugate the people from the southeast further. I see it as an attempt to truncate the development and peace that has come to Imo State. Somebody somewhere is desperate of acquiring the southeast and getting an APC state in the southeast. And I found willing allies in Imo State. Everybody, the last week I was clear here, APC is virtually and permanently in a crisis. It doesn't exist. The man that has been declared winner now is a one-man person. He's disowned by the party in Imo State.
Which man is that?
The distinguished senator who puts on them.
Disowned by the party?
APC.
The national chairman was there to
I'm
campaign
saying
for
APC
him.
in Imo State said. APC Imo State are clear that they don't even see him as a member of APC in Imo State.
Oh, APC in Imo State.
In Imo State. My constituency is in Imo State. Yeah.
Just wondering, though, what exactly is going to be the way forward now for Mr. Ihedioha?
Well, if you know Ihedioha, and I have been with him since yesterday, it's not about him. For him, somebody, a young man, came up and said, for the first time, let's get things right. Let's do the right thing. Let's get Imo working again. Let's get our state together and grow development. In the last 7 months, the Imo state has been the center of foreign direct investment. The entire diaspora of the entire Igbo nation met in Imo State on the 3rd of January. Imo State has been ranked the least corrupt state by the federal government agency for the Bureau for Statistics. Imo State became a signature of all DFID, all donor agencies. We are all emptying into Imo State to assist in the development of the state. So it's not about Ihedioha. It's about what has become and what will become of the state. For Ihedioha, he sees it as an act of God. If that's what God wills for him, so it. But for Imo people, we see it as an attempt to subjugate us, because there is nothing that will change. We are going back to the days of Egypt. We will end up at doing the normal political without any development.
So you are not going to offer your support to this current governor?
I will offer my support to the extent that somebody somewhere acknowledges and apologizes to Imo people that fraudulent result sheets have been used to entrench legal governance in Imo State. If that happens, and someone says, well, whatever it is, I'm sorry it has happened, they will begin to look at. But you know, support is a product of what you have to offer. Some people do not want quality services. Some people want to have, believe in cut and nail. Some people don't believe in due processes, which America has in trade. I do not see somebody like me who believes in transparency, who believes that things should be done the right way, who believes that merit should be on the highest altar. Serving in a system where people believe that everything that you get in life must be as a result of fraudulent concussions. I do not believe in that. There are very opportunities for people to survive. But it pains Imo people because Imo is in a state where they saw the promised land and they couldn't get there.
Well, that's where we'll have to leave it. Honorable Ray Imianga is the Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Imo State. Thank you for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much.
The program continues about now with the team in Lagos.